All right, it looks like we've got 6 o'clock here. We'll call to order this meeting, the Finance Committee. It's Tuesday, August 8th. We have a quorum present and we are certified and in compliance with open meetings laws. We have a public comment section. I don't know if anyone's of the two. No, nobody jumping up, so perfect. All right. All right, move on to communications. Dave, you got a handful of them in there?
Yeah, just a few. Just a few. It should be pretty quick. The first one, asset forfeiture program. The police got 22,160 in forfeitures. They're limited to what they can use it for, but that's 22,000 more than we had before. The next is a stock certificate that we had in Uniroyal Technology Corporation. Well, given what we're bringing up in item number 9, I thought I should also bring up this stock certificate that we had. It's worthless now, so it's kind of a moot point. And just a kind of a communication for the Greenspire Properties, Stoughton Housing Authority. The lot line between the buildings and the church just to the north, nobody was really sure where the lot line was, and we knew we had dead trees there. We got a surveyor to come in, give us the lot lines. The city forester has gone out, marked which trees are ours, which are the churches, the ones that are dead and need to be removed. And when I talked to the housing authority, they already had monies in their budget for current year to take down those trees. So it's nothing that we have to come up with other than the surveyor fees. That was it for those communications. Any questions on any of those 3 items? Yes, Lisa. That I do not know, and with the sale going to the new owners sometime in the next 6 months probably, I'm not sure if anything else is going to be done. I would kind of hope that they would, but I'm also assuming that the new owner is going to be concentrating on building and parking lot reservations, things like that, rather than landscaping type things. Nope, it doesn't say in the packet that they were just marked. That's probably something we should find out before Housing Authority meets next week.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on these topics?
Dave, in the federal forfeiture or in the forfeiture program, what do you know an example of of something that PD could use that?
It's generally for capital items. I don't know if they have a limit of 2,000 or whatever, but they can't use it for ongoing operations, things like that.
So if they wanted to buy a bunch of bulletproof vests or something like that.
Right,
okay.
Or walkie-talkies or things like that,
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to ask Brandon for any more details?
I'm sure they'll find a way to spend it.
I'm sure it won't be a problem.
No, that was all I wanted to know on that one.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions on these communications? Anybody have any other communications? All right, into reports then.
Okay, these 3 items are also on the council's agenda, but I thought I'd introduce them to you folks too. The very first one, under the allowable levy limit, there's a lot of numbers on there. The bottom line number is what you're looking for, 156,514. That's the whopping amount that we get for net new construction increase. Now granted, it's a projection, but I'm probably within $10 or $20 at this point. So I just, the other comment is we had our second best record year, And second best is still 156,000 as compared to last year, the record 188,000. The next one is just a recap of net new construction over the years. And over the last 3 years, we are averaging 1.91%. So we're staying up there. We're still less than the other Dane County and most of the other cities in the county, though. But we are growing, so that's a good thing. Net new construction's only 1.99%. We couldn't quite get the 2%, but maybe we'll get it with some adjustments. They are doing a correction to TID 6. Emmy Roth property, they put it into the TID when they shouldn't, so we may actually get to the net new construction. We'll have to see. But then equalized value, again, we've got the recap in there. This year we went up 13.66%, very respectable. We're averaging 12.5 over the last 3 years. So basically that means the mill rate will go down. It's just a mathematical function. When the numerator goes up by 13.66% and the denominator goes up by 2% roughly, your mill rate will go down. So really, that's all I wanted to just highlight, some very brief things on all three. Does anybody have any questions on any of that?
I tried to build a calculator once that would figure out between where the levy limit was and then your restrictions of where you can spend, so that you could try and land your net new construction percentage in the perfect spot to maximize that one all the time. It was a complicated ordeal.
I don't think I'd want to try that. I got enough spreadsheets out there. I'll let you work on that one. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, I guess that's it for my portion. I will be speaking later, of course.
Yep. All right, so our next bit up is I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the July 25th meeting. Motion by Lisa, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ben. Any questions or edits or anything on those minutes? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. We have resolution to affirm city payment of Minnesota Life basic life insurance premiums for all covered employees.
When I was looking at the budgets over the last few months, including my own, I saw that most departments were over budget for life insurance. And I was trying to figure out why, and I dug into it. None of my prior employers have done this, although ETF allows it. Usually the employees pay the basic premium, and the employer just does the 20% match. Well, here for at least 30 years, we've been paying the employee share as the employer. That's allowed, but you have to have a form on file with ETF. They didn't have that form on file, so this is basically asking for status quo, gives HR the authority to sign this, send it in, and we keep on paying the premium on behalf of the employees as we've been doing for the past few decades.
Has that form ever been on file, or is it an annualized form?
Well, it's not annualized. Once you have it on file, unless you rescind it, it's there. Is the possibility that it was there sometime and got lost? Yes, it's possible, but right now, nothing was on file.
Okay, so then there's nothing that we have to do future or forward with. Once we get this form on file, we're good?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody with any questions on that one?
I'll move to approve.
All right, motion by Ben, is there a second? Second by Ozzy. Any other questions on this? We will see this one later tonight. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, we'll
Yeah,
recommend that.
I put it as time sensitive. The sooner it got the form on file, the better, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we'll recommend that to council and see that later tonight. Next bit is a resolution for the closure of Fidelity Investments accounts owned by the firefighters pension board.
Well, as you recall, we've been trying to get John Neal's name, who retired in '09, off this account. And Fidelity basically said in order to do that, we had to supply some paperwork that we were originally given, turn it into them so that they could then make the changes. Well, when John started back in, what year, '81, that account was already set up, so he has never seen that paperwork. We did our due diligence, we tried searching for it, several departments did that. I've even, as you can tell, contacted John, seeing if he had any ideas and where to look. So, talking with the city attorney, we thought the best recourse is to have Common Council give John Neal temporary authority to communicate with Fidelity to close the account so that we can access the funds.
That seems the most reasonable way to go about it. But
Right, and I drafted the original resolution, and Rick Manthe reviewed it, tweaked a few things, but
Right.
it has been reviewed by the city attorney.
It's probably, those original papers are probably in a time capsule somewhere, in a building somewhere, Cornerstone, I don't
They
know.
could be, or in a folder labeled, "Keep this."
Probably, I'll bet.
When we were doing our due diligence searching for that, that's when I found the stock certificate for Uniroyal. Or I didn't find it, the clerk's office did, but still.
All right, does anybody have any questions on this one? This seems to be the most logical way to resolve this.
We couldn't think of any other way to do it, to be honest.
Well, and thankfully John Neal is around, at least, to be able to do this.
Yes. And willing to cooperate.
Yeah, that too. What was that, Ozzy?
How would they know we're talking to John Neal? They wouldn't, but right now their paperwork says John is authorized to do it, so we're going to have John do it.
We could maybe have gotten an AI impersonator, but I mean. All right, motion by Lisa, is there a second?
Second.
We'll go
Mayor
with Dave
Dave,
on that one, yep. Any questions on this one? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, we will recommend that to council later tonight. Next bit up is the resolution for pre-annexation agreement for Greenbrier Farms Limited Partnership.
Would you like
This
me to
one-
give you an overview?
Oh, for sure. This one was throwing me because we were with Greenbrier and we were dealing with Green Spire before, so.
Okay. Well, this is very consistent with what we've done in other annexations. It's a document that we put in place prior to the annexation ordinance being adopted. It outlines some of the expenditures and obligations that the petitioner has related to cost reimbursement. It outlines the deposits possibility and the opportunity to have some funds available to help us make sure we get compensated for some of our services. Attorney Al Reuter is here. He was the one that helped us draft this. You recall we utilized them because there was an issue with Stafford Rosenbaum in the town of Dunn, representing the town of Dunn on other property or other projects. So he's been helpful in putting this together. Again, it's been based off of similar ones we've used within the city in the past. Al, is there anything particular that you'd like to highlight?
I can answer any questions.
Sure.
If anybody has any.
Sure.
I think that's a pretty good summary of what the agreement's for.
With that, does anyone have any questions for Al?
I can just highlight one thing. We actually did have the petitioner sign this already, so it's a document that would be able to be put in effect prior to the annexation ordinance that's being acted on tonight at the council meeting.
All right. Does anybody have any questions on this one?
Is this the property along 51 there? It is the property along 51 north of Rutland on Town Line Road. So it's actually on the west side of 51. I think it's about a 32-acre tract of land. Before you get to the big dirt pile, if you know where the big dirt pile is, that piece is already in the city. That was a Dvorak annexation that preceded this section that's on the screen now. So this is a southern remnant of that 40-acre tract.
This would cover the other side of the planned underpass, correct?
Correct. So the west side of the underpass is planned to occur just to the north of the three properties that are shown on the bottom right-hand side of the screen.
All right. If no one has any other questions, I would entertain a motion to approve to council, recommend to council.
So moved.
Motion by Ben. Is there a second? Second by Ozzy. Any other questions or changes on that? All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, we'll recommend that one to council later tonight. Last one up we have is a resolution to amend 2023 adopted budget for the closure of Fund 412 equipment replacement.
Well, this is part of my evil diabolical plan to have less funds in the general ledger for us to track. There was actually nothing budgeted in this fund for expenditures in 2023. I have to think what year I'm in, but only revenues. And so I'm recommending that we close this account completely. Any capital outlay that we normally had put in 412, I'm doing it in 410 now just for convenience, so everybody's got things together and it's more consistent. The 369,955 fiscal impact is the fund balance at December 31st of last year, so that fund balance will then go into the capital outlay, capital projects account. Any questions at all on this?
Which department was this one for the equipment replacements, or what was it
It-
intended for originally?
Well, it was intended for, as the title said, various equipment, and the funding sources in the past were primarily the pilots from Stoughton Utilities and the charges to the surrounding towns for fire services. If you remember, we took most of that revenue back when we were finding funding for the market increases for all the employees as a sustainable revenue source. So it could be any department may have had equipment in there.
Sure. All right. Does anybody have any other questions about this? All right, and I would entertain a motion to recommend this to council.
So,
All right, motion by Ozzy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ben. Any questions or changes on this one? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, we'll recommend that one to council, but not for tonight. And that runs us through our business at hand in here. We've still got our future agenda items, plenty of them, but
If I can add just a
Yep.
few comments on some of them. The facility rental charges to Stoughton Utilities and EMS. Technically, the lease contract expired at the end of February this year. We were going to have a continuation of that lease. Matt Dragney opined that really didn't need to be a lease, so now we're kind of going through, I redrafted something as a policy, and Utilities is looking at it. Their attorney dealing with the various aspects of I can't think, PSC compliance. So I'm hoping, if not August 22nd, early September, we just have to make sure that we've got a reasonable market rate that we're charging. That's proving to be a little bit hard to find the market rates, though. The building maintenance fund, the next item, that's going to be similar to what you just recommended for approval for Fund 412, the equipment replacement. The plan is to put all that capital outlay into the other Fund 410 capital outlay, and the little bit of remaining revenue, my plan is to steal that for operational costs rather than lowering the amount of debt we issue. DPW site remediation, we're still waiting for True North to get back to us. We'd hoped at this meeting, but we're hoping we see something soon so that we can start getting the bids out. Emmy Roth, they've indicated to us they're going to do an updated TIF application, so once we see that, we'll let you know. Also in September, we should be issuing debt, or at least starting the process of issuing debt. I've been working with Ellers on that. And you get the thrill of seeing the single audit report for the first time. The city has never done one, but between ARPA funds and a loan that Stoughton Utility has, we now have to have it. They're not done with the single audit, but we've already paid $6,000 in fees for it that I didn't budget for. I'm excited about that. Other than that, I didn't have anything to bring up to you folks at all.
all right, anything anybody wants to add to the future items?
Please say no.
All right, if there's no other business, then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Greg, second by
Yep.
Dave. Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Greg, when did you sneak in for the minutes?
About 10 after.
About 10 after? Okay.
Finally got it to work.